everybody. So it's a beautiful, beautiful day out here. And so I decided to get rid of a little bit of fear and come outside because, obviously we've got these rough COVID-19 times. Today I wanted to talk about something that I call time attachment. I think there are a lot of people who tend to have an attachment to time about everything. I understand maybe for work situations and stuff like that, but what I noticed is that in a lot of people's creative work, a lot of people's personal projects, what often happens is that they get so tied up and bogged down with the fact that they don't even finish in maybe the allotted time that they originally gave themselves. And they focus so much on the time that is being spent. The meaning value, the semantic value that you're giving that time that has been spent, that's really what matters. People want to know how I'm so creative. And so basically that's why I do these videos. I basically share my personal philosophy about creativity. So like I've said, non-linear and linear are two different types of structural dynamics, right? I think a lot of people would be likely to see time as at least more linear than just in the popular imagination. Time tends to be seen as of a linear property. I'm searching within myself and I'm searching within philosophy, I'm searching within philosophies of time that have been written, things like that. I have been reading about different physicists' thoughts on time. But I think a lot of people would be more likely to see creativity as of a nonlinear property. If we're thinking about linearity and nonlinearity, I just wonder, why would you use something linear like time attachment? I'm not saying that time is of an inherent linear property. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is we tend to use it linearly throughout our day. Like, well, at 2, I'm going to do this, and at 3, I'm going to do this. Basically, that linear is step 1, step 2, step 3. You don't really do some type of nonlinear flow throughout your day unless you do, and that's awesome. And so that's what I talk about because that's what I do. A little part of that is something that I've constructed called the flow of life that basically came out of a lot of experimentation with myself and my own kind of like schedule, not really a schedule, but something that really helped me thrive. I want you to chew on that nugget. Like, what difference does it make if you finish it in a certain amount of time? If it's something that does not have some type of external deadline that a whole entire other group of people have created that are intimately woven in with some types of systems that you really can't let down or that you can't, afford to fail, because then your survival would be at stake or your survival needs would be at stake. So a really good way to practice time non-attachment is to do some things that are creative. Just anything, whatever you want to do. Work on an invention, do something. Notice when you have responses to yourself or responses to your actions that bring up guilt, fear, or shame. Guilt for not having finished something in an allotted time period. Shame because this is embarrassing. I don't finish this in time. Developmental stage theories can sometimes sear too far into our minds to think that we are supposed to develop in certain ways at certain times. And when it comes to life, though, that's very different. When it comes to life lessons, that's very different. Perhaps for developmental stages with regards to growing up, yeah, those are different life lessons that, are at least that we believe that we are supposed to know by a certain time. But there are certain things that you might not, because of everything that has been in place that you could not control. I learned how to manage my money quite late in life. But what's interesting is that I never shamed myself for it. I think a good example is, my response was just like, okay, cool, I know now. Great. All I can do is what I can do, and that's it. And I congratulated myself for educating myself when no one else educated me, and I moved on. Unfortunately, it can be like that for highly creative individuals. The reason it could be that way for highly creative individuals is simply because a lot of carers and a lot of different people may not have necessarily known how to take care of you, may not have known, may have done their best, but maybe did not know how. I have an example of a friend of mine who did not know how to manage their money for a long time, just because he was in a pretty narcissistic relationship with his father, and his father was just controlling all of the money, and this guy is in his 30s, and his dad still found a way to control his life, and because his son is autistic, he's having a really, really hard time breaking away from the father, even though it may be best for him to let go because of the need for security. He at least knows that he will have financial security, but at the expense of all of your other needs and desires, that's codependency. But this person continues to shame themselves because they're infantilized a lot of times by their father. Their father can use that against them. And like the father can say, you didn't get this done in time. I don't understand why you learned this so late. I don't understand why you learned this so late. That's all proof to see you need me. So you see how time attachment can make you a huge target for manipulation. And people who manipulate get furious when they see that you are not attached to time, because there's no shame. There's no need for shame. Whenever you are not attached to time, it's ridiculous. It's really hilarious. It starts to be very funny because you can tell that, like, you'd be surprised. Just check it out. I want you to do like a little research project, or just like a little data collection project. You know what I mean? Like, just look around and think about how many times you hear people feeling guilt or shame around not getting something done in time. It's crazy. And so I learned that simply by observing. I was just like, everybody is so attached to this. Why? And then they want to be creative? There's no way that's going to work. There's no way. So the more you release yourself from time, the better. Thanks for listening today. I just wanted to do a little short video today. The sun is out. It's gorgeous. If you really like this video, then please like and subscribe so it can get out to the people who really need it. Stay well and stay safe during these rough times. And I'll talk to you next time. Bye-bye.